Yes, you guys. So listen, as we talk about buyers agency, let's talk about a few things here because with what we do know is obviously things are going to change. As I was talking in one of our meetings yesterday, that buyers agency, quote unquote, and the way that we do, real estate today is going to be different, come sometime July or later this year, whenever it's all said and done. So remember, as I hear, well, let's see, number one, don't stick your head in the sand. What I mean by don't stick your head in the sand, don't be one of the people, in my opinion, that are saying, well, nothing's happened yet, it's not signed off yet, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Please remember that we were sent from NAR a settlement. We were not sent and asked about a proposal that NAR was going to give. This is a settlement. So this is going to happen whether it is in its exact state right now that it was in as we're reading it, or there will be some additions and or modifications to it. But business is going to be done differently, and everybody is in a panic. Truth of the matter is, depending upon how you've been running your business up to this point, it's going to be just a little additional clarification. And as a agent, and we're talking about a buyer's agent at this particular point in this junction, you have to make sure that you're able to show your value to your customer so that they will use you, which should have been the case anyway. So we're going to talk about 4 or 5 things here right now that you can at least focus on when you're talking to your customer. Because remember, on the buyer's agent side at this point, we're not going to know via MLS anyway whether or not the listing agent, or excuse me, the seller will be assisting in any type of a buyer's compensation for a buyer's agent. That means that you have to, in the beginning, negotiate your own fee. Here's the problem that we need to make sure that we overcome is that there are an awful lot of people incorrectly that think that all a buyer agent does is open doors and then write a contract and submit offers. That's what the perception is. And that perception has gotten, in my opinion, worse once all of our data and everything else came on the internet. Because right now, buyers have almost as much access as agents do to any and all inventory, right? So they're looking at, well, why do I need to pay you? I can just go directly to the listing agent, or I can do it myself. Whatever the case may be, I can pay somebody to just write up the deal, all of that sort of stuff. I'll pay you, but you give me back something on the commission, all of these things, right? The best way to avoid that stuff is to talk about your value. So again, 4 or 5 things that you should be discussing with. Number one is talk to your buyers about your marketing expertise. And what I mean by marketing expertise, just the things that you know and can provide and can help them with as far as maybe trends in the marketplace, macroly, trends in the marketplace, microly, per town, per city. Actually talk to them about property values. You, besides your CMAs, actually explain what the CMA is, explain the comps, explain the differences, maybe why this one sold higher than this one, and that explain where they should be at when they're making their offers, and explain that based upon what the market conditions are. I mean, if there are more listings available than there are buyers in the market, explain to them that they have a better marketing strategy or purchasing power, purchasing strategy. And if it's the other way around, then you have to explain to them if they really want a piece of property, what they may have to do to get it. Does it sound familiar? Hopefully it sounds like something you've already been doing. Negotiation skills, right? Negotiation skills means more than you get it for the price that you want. First of all, it should be a win-win situation between what the buyer's willing to do, what the seller's willing to do. But explain to your buyer that in every negotiation, what's most important to them may not be what's most important to another buyer. Like, for instance, your buyer that you're working with, for whatever reason, may need a 60-day escrow versus a 30-day escrow. Your buyer that you're representing may have to have certain closing costs paid that another a buyer would not. Maybe the possession has to be ahead of time. There's different things in the negotiation that go under negotiation skills, which puts certain advantages to your buyer. It's not just price, although price and all that is a great thing as well, but it's not just that. But you have to explain those things to a buyer, because remember, the majority of the time the buyer will be going through this for the first or maybe second time, but they don't do what we do, so they don't know. They don't know until we actually can convey and show them the value in having us do this. Obviously, access to listings. Well, again, they can browse online and all that other sort of stuff, and hopefully talk to a listing agent that will come out and say all that stuff. Got it. But realistically, there are also other avenues where they'll get list. There are opportunities for them to get access to listings, either that are off market. Maybe they're coming soon properties that haven't been listed yet, but because of the networking relationships you've built, you may have opportunities to show it to them first or sooner than other agents would have an opportunity to do. That there's still other things that excuse me, you'll be able to provide, they won't be able to get just by going online. So you want to definitely explain that value as well, guiding them through the process. Guiding your buyer through the process, the buyer needs to understand some of the things that you do to help along with the transaction, from the disclosures, from the contingency periods, from the making sure things are done when they're supposed to be done, for the inspection reports, the appraisal report, all that stuff, right? All that stuff, the buyer needs to understand that you are assisting and helping them navigate through that process to get to what they want, which is a closed transaction. And they need to have professional eyes or a professional system, if you have a team set up looking at these things, that provides them with the best opportunity and has their best interest at heart, right? Lastly, at least for this video, advocacy and protection. The buyer needs to know and understand there's someone on their side looking out for them, fighting for them, and they are using their fiduciary responsibilities just to them, just the buyer, to negotiate for them, to help them, to assist them, to help them get what it is that they're looking to get to, and that is home ownership, property ownership, right? So as a buyer's agent, these are things of value, in my opinion, of course, that you should be conveying along with other things to the buyer, get the buyer under contract, and then go out and show them what you can do. Help a family build a legacy. It's going to be different coming up right now overall, but it could be better for you if you raise your professional standards, provide your value, and show them why they need you. Okay? Any questions, anything, you can put them in the chat. Reach out to me and all of our resources that we have. Thank you guys for coming. And I appreciate the opportunity to assist all my fellow realtors.